you so much, Mr. Arjun, for joining us.
Thank you
You're
so
the
much,
HR
Sumit.
head of Dixon Technologies, which is one of the leading organization in contract manufacturing, and also have been one of the earlier players that got the license for production link incentive. And, have been, I think this is the second or third year currently in running, if I'm not wrong.
That's correct, yes. Second year.
Great, sir. So, I think why we wanted to have this conversation with you is that, the whole agenda for having this PLI was to boost the manufacturing in India, specifically trying to, link it with the Make in India mission that has largely been there. But the other, objective was also to look at how do you generate more formal employment. And ever since the scheme has kind of been launched, we've seen that there's at least about 6.78 lakh people that have got employed under this particular scheme. So that's a very heartening thing to see. Also, because of the success that has happened in the last 2-3 years, the investments in the coming financial year has also been increased by the finance minister, and currently the budget has gone up to about 6,200 crores, which has been launched against the FY24 budget that was about 46,045 crores that it was. So, but one of the also phenomena what we have seen is, specifically when we're looking at organization like yours, since we are in engagement with them as well, is that while the organizations or the scheme is leading to the formal employment, it's also leading to a lot of skilling exercise, which has been, undertaken by the organization, because they've realized that the production has kind of gone up, the volumes have gone up. You've seen that they're expanding big time. And in order to cater to the expected demand or the future demand, and even to the current demand as well, organizations are resorting to a lot of innovative ideas to skill people to create a talent pipeline. So it's leading to so I would say that while PLI is leading to the generation of formal employment, but at the same time, it is also leading to the formalization of skilling exercise, which was not so much happening in the country earlier. And it's also scaling the skilling initiatives. Consider that you're a leading player in the sector, one of the early entrants or licensees of this under this particular scheme. Would just like to understand a little bit from you that what has been the employment growth in your area, and what are the initiatives that you are looking at to skill the people, or what are various initiatives you already undertaken to prepare a talent pool for your organization?
Thanks, Sumit. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for having me today. And thank you, Team Leads, for having me today in this session. So first and foremost, yes, we are definitely the first few beneficiaries of the PLI scheme of the government. So much was the encouraging response of the PLI scheme that the government came out with PLI-2 scheme as well recently. And if I look at look at it more from a number perspective, almost 800 companies, are now kind of beneficiaries, and it is just not in one particular sector, but 14 different sectors are benefiting to it. You rightly pointed out one number, which is in terms of the employment that the PLI scheme has generated, more than 7 lakhs. And the bigger picture is that in the next 2 years, we expect another 60-70 lakhs of jobs or employment opportunity getting created just by the PLI scheme. So it's a sizable number for us to look at. Now, when we look at talent, we always look at the demand and supply, and we look at demand. The demand is given because of the PLI related impetus by the government. So if I'm looking at a 60 lakh, 70 lakh job, the demand is already there. Now, the bigger challenge is more in terms of the supply. And that is where we as an organization focus a lot. And when we talk of supply, we just don't talk of, a buy strategy, but also the build strategy and the points that you just spoke about, in terms of skilling. And the kind of government programs that are currently available in the skilling domain, serves the purpose of both buy as well as build. So for example, the NAPS program, if you look at, is a program wherein I'm buying as well as I'm building the skill. And that is where, when you are looking at a kind of a growth strategy that we had, for example, we have added more than 10,000 people in the last 1 year itself. And that's a sizable number for us to look at. And when we are looking at future projection for us as a company, we are clearly looking up adding more than 10,000, 12,000 people another year, because we are opening many such manufacturing facilities for us. Now, so when we look at talent, it's a mix of both hiring as well as skilling. And when I look at skilling, there are multiple elements that we generally focus on. So when we look at skilling, it is just not about the blue collar worker. It is also about the skilling that we are trying to do in the various spaces, more so in the area of productivity, in the area of technology or digital. So, for example, if there is an MES related implementation, if I'm doing in a factory, it is just not about blue collar. It is also about the various technology skills that we are requiring to launch and run the MES operations very, very smoothly. So, what we have done here at Dixon, we have gone very specific. We have created something called a COE. It's a Center of Excellence. And this Center of Excellence actually focuses on technical, behavioral, as well as people competencies. Because, when you're hiring so many people at the shop floor, you're also making sure that the reason why the people leave you is also because of the kind of relationship that they have with their first interactions with the people managers. And that's very important is to focus on the people skills, developing managerial capability, developing people capability in these people so that they are handled properly. Because if you continue hiring and if you continue losing people, you are again you're basically on the ground zero. And that's where retention becomes very, very important, and the skilling plays a very, very important role. In the last 6 months, what we have also done, Sumit, to answer your question, we have created a module which is called as DSS module. It's a Dixon Star Supervisor. So the first interaction of a blue collar worker, supervisors, we are making sure that they have all the skills, not just about people, but also about, the entire line balancing skills. They understand productivity, they understand safety, they understand the entire aspects of how to treat people to make sure that longevity of the people. Then if we are looking at, the entire bit of the government interventions in terms of, we talking to some of the players. For example, we talking to some institutes for them to do courses on our behalf. We talking to players like you for providing us apprentices. We are looking for people like you to even go further in terms of work in integrated learning programs, whether you want to call it a DVOC or BVOC kind of a programs, the NAT scheme, which is more for a slightly different kind of a skill set. And at the same time, there are various other programs which we do through other players to ensure the skilling of our people. I hope I was able to answer your question, Sumit.
No, absolutely, Mr. Arjun. I think you're doing a phenomenal job in terms of skill development. You also mentioned that how you are, like whether it's apprenticeship or education, how you're leveraging that to build your talent pool. But what I also hear is that you also doing some short-term programs on skill development along with the Sector Skill Council.
Yes.
Would you like to elaborate a little bit more on that as well? That what kind of this initiative that you're working on?
So a lot in terms of the ASDM, engagements. And when we look at that, it is just not about one or two technical domains. If you look at Dixon, we are just not about, one business unit. We are operating into 7 different business units. And each of these business unit actually focuses on a different kind of product. So one business unit focuses on mobile, the other business focuses on a refrigerator or LED TV. Now there are 7 such business units, and each business unit's skill requirement is very different. And that is where ESDM is coming into the picture and helping us get us those kind of skills so that we are not losing out time on training people to come and be productive on the ground. And that is where all this is done before even people come on board. We have a COE, which is where people get trained for a minimum of 2 days before they are actually executed on the line, so that you are able to reduce their time on training. You are able to get competent resources to manage your product and day-to-day operations, as well as competent resources to manage your quality issues on ground and stop rejections. And that is where ESDMs, for example, I'll give you one example, which is very, very specific to the mobile business. Now, soldering skills. Soldering skills is very key to running your mobile operations, because there are a lot many places wherein you do soldering. And that is where ESDM related training program is just focusing on getting us the soldering skills to train people and make them experts in our area. And that is where this kind of interventions by ESDM is actually helping us go very deep into the technological skill requirements and to focus on these skills so that we have trained manpower available at all the times.
Sure. Great. Mr. Arjun, also, like we're talking about the people whom you're freshly inducting into your organization, but any initiative that you're doing to upskill the existing or reskilling the existing workforce?
So as I said, the COE focuses not just on the skilling, but they also focus on upskilling and reskilling. So when
I
I
see.
talk about, yeah. So for example, lighting business, if I have to look at lighting business, the kind of business that we are into, it's growing at a very slow phase, compared to the growth that we see in the other businesses. So there is definitely opportunity for us to look at the kind of people who are involved in the lighting business. Is there a way to, reskill them and place them into the other business? So for example, am I having people who can get trained into the what is required in the washing machine or a refrigerator area, because that's a growth area for us, and then we are able to put people into those areas. So clearly our manpower plan is very much dependent on what is the kind of internal talent we have, what is the kind of talent funnel that we have, and where exactly the funnel is getting taken care of. So all that is something which is focusing on not just skilling but reskilling and upskilling.